Hello, folks. Welcome to Business Spotlight. My guest today has found her niche in the competitive world of hair and wellness by focusing her offer all around accessibility, inclusivity, and sustainability. I'm delighted to be joined today by the absolutely fabulous Hannah Klewpatinond from HK Hair and Wellness. Hannah, it's great to see you. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much for having me, Mark. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for coming on. You've got a brilliant story to tell. So let's dive straight in. Why don't you share with the viewers, Hannah, the story behind how you started your business?
I actually came into hairdressing quite late compared to the norm. I've got a background in HR. I went to university and specialised in HR, have a motor industry background actually, but realised in my late 20s that I didn't want my boss's job, and you are a long time working. My personal circumstances at the time, we've just got married, and most certainly with my clients now, when those things happen, it's a time of change. I actually did a hairdressing apprenticeship at the age of 26. Found a incredible hair salon that was willing to take me on, because being an older apprentice is quite a challenge. And yeah, it's sort of started there. Thankfully, it all worked out, and I love the industry. But industry is really in my blood. My mum's been a hairdresser since she was 15. After I qualified, we had a partnership together for 6 years, actually. And the business has evolved and developed really with how my own personal circumstances and family have grown, really.
Fantastic. Well, look, as you said, you came to it late, but you built a brilliant business off the back of it. I'm sure, like many entrepreneurs, the early days weren't easy. What have been the biggest challenges that you've faced since you started your business, and how did you overcome them?
My biggest thing personally was actually establishing boundaries in terms of my working hours, what our non-negotiables are. And that's really taken, I should think, a decade. I'm very clear on our niche. That came out during lockdown, really, in terms of we've always had an accessibility and sustainability focus. But having that moment during lockdown, although I had 3 children under 5 at home at the time, I had to do a lot of research and were able to really find out what did I want. If I was coming back to the industry, a lot of 14% of hair salons closed since March 2020. If we were coming back to the industry, it needed to be right for my family circumstances, for for a growing team, which is what it then has become into, and also really a long term. This is my forever career. It will adapt and evolve. But what do I really want? So there's been some real defining moments there. But that was definitely.
We've talked several times already about defining your niche, and you are all about. Well, let's just kind of explore that a little bit. You're all about accessibility. Around things like disability and also gender and gender change, and also racial accessibility as well. And you've very much adapted your offers around that. How did you build a strong customer base and establish your brand in what is a competitive industry?
I think certainly when we first started out as a salon owner, sort of 11, 12 years ago now, it was very much focused. It was mum and I. It was very much, the accountability stopped with us. So from a customer service point of view, there are sometimes that things, a client may wait an extra 5 minutes than expected in things, or there might be some other things. Naturally, I deal with that head on. Absolutely accountability as the business owner. So from a customer service point of view, we've always been very clear and open with our messaging. We've always cared about our clients. So if someone books in for an appointment with one particular stylist, they see that stylist. They're not moved around or anything like that. And we respect the relationship that we have with our clients. And we've got 14 situations at the moment where we have at least 2, if not 4 generations of family that will come to us. And that's, we're sharing life stories with people. So that certainly for us has been throughout over the decade of being part of the journey.
Wow, so lots of repeat sale there going on many generations. Let's come back to some of the stuff that you've done around your niche, because you have been very innovative in some of the things that you've put in place. So can you just share some of that? What have you done to foster innovation in a way that talks to your niche? I'm thinking about the specific things that you've done in your your facility?
Well, in terms of, so my current premises, we've been here 2 years now, and the reason for the move was they've given us the space and really the blank canvas to be able to offer such an offering, basically. In terms of our accessibility physically in the salon space, we're all on one level. There are no steps or ramps or thresholds or anything anywhere. I have two shampoo basins that do have a fixed chair, but I have one that is wheelchair accessible. But also it can be used. We have some clients that may have had back surgery or back problems that they can't actually lean backwards. So it is a front forward facing basin. And that's very unique. And what I'd like to say is all the things that we are doing that certainly are a niche, I passionately feel they should be an industry standard. It should be, all salons should be like mine. It shouldn't be that we are any different. But and hopefully that will come. So physical accessibility, and that's obviously taken a lot of investment. I'm very lucky that my landlords have let me do all the things I can. In terms of all the other, we advertise in particular places where perhaps some salons don't. So there's a website called Trans Friendly. We actively reach out to diverse groups that may not have felt safe in a salon environment before, or may have had a negative reaction. And we do pop-up events, our local pride events and things to make sure that we are seen in our community as a safe space. We offer one-on-one appointments, so that may be for clients that wear a hijab, and typically they may well have only been able to have their hair done at home, and that's absolutely fine if that's your choice. But if you want to come into salon, we're able to accommodate that. Similarly, if clients are going through transition, maybe going through chemo, we can really offer a bespoke service that is right for them, that they feel comfortable in.
It's a fantastic example of really adapting your offer to your niche. It's a brilliant example. Can you share a pivotal moment or a decision that significantly impacted on the growth of the business?
Yes, I certainly in terms of growth is moving to the premises that we're at now. Because the opportunities there, the opportunities here and the opportunities for our business going forward. And we've got 2 units. We're on a farm location. We're very much a destination salon. We have easy parking. We have availability that if we have clients who maybe have autistic or neurodivergent challenges within the salon space, normally I can go out to a field and watch the sheep cut somebody's hair. We can. So it's very much and moving the business forward. The farm itself, my heating is provided by a biomass heater on site. I have the space for all the recycle bins that I require. So it's very much in terms of accessibility. I can have a client arrive here in their wheelchair-friendly car, and arrive and can independently come and have their hair done, and that isn't an offering in everywhere. So yeah, this is definitely. And for me personally, I've got a young family. My youngest started school last week. So timing-wise, the last 2 years have been the unit became available, and we just had to go for it. And it's the last 2 years have been very much building to this pivotal point now, really, where I don't have a child with me during the day.
Well, look, it's been a great success story, but I'm sure it's not all been a bed of roses. And you've managed to juggle having a family at the same time as growing a brilliant business. I'm sure there's been some setbacks. So how do you handle failure, Hannah, and what lessons have you learned from it?
When we had our first salon, so we had that for 6 years, and I grew the business because personally we didn't think we'd be able to have children. So we grew the business, had a team of 10, and then our first miracle arrived quite by surprise, and things changed. Obviously, my priorities changed, and I never went back to work full time. And actually, ultimately, by the time I had my second child, it wasn't possible to run the business in the way that I wanted to, as well as parent full time. It was what I wanted to do alongside my husband. And so I actually stepped away from that business, and a senior stylist took it over. We converted our garage at home, and it looked very much like the salon you see behind me. But it was, that for 4 years. And although that from a business ego point of view, that was a big thing to have to do. I didn't have to do it. I probably should have done it a year earlier. But that was a pivotal moment, because first of all, I could step back. I really looked after the clients that I retained. I was able to have my the family time that I wanted, And you know, and then 4 years later, thankfully, that got us through COVID, because I didn't have any rent to pay. You know, we could literally close the doors, reevaluate everything. And I think from that point, learning from that point, I've come back. We've now got the premises we have, slightly different business model, but I now have my very clear non-negotiables in terms of how, you know, in terms of my work-life balance, in terms of the team, protecting the team, and how we're going to move forward for whatever irregularities may come about.
Let's dive into that a little bit more then. So, you know, you are a busy mum, you're a wife, you're a busy entrepreneur with a big team. What strategies do you use to avoid burnout?
Well, I'm very fortunate that I'm nocturnal, certainly for the last few years, so up until now, up until the beginning of this year, I worked very irregular hours that suited my clients. So literally, you know, I do a couple of days during the day, long Saturdays, evenings, suited our clients very much so, and I had no guilt in terms of my parenting. Now, as a mother, you shouldn't feel any guilt for anyone watching. You shouldn't have any guilt for what you do or don't do in terms of your childcare, but it's got to be right for you. And so, even though my work-life balance has been certainly lacking in the last number of years, I have been able to, I've had the flexibility to model our balance in a way that I wanted. And certainly now the children are at school, you know, I do regular hours in salon. It's been very much a priority to have time to work on the business during the day, not just do my admin at 11 o'clock at night and things like that. You know, even just simple things like making sure we're hydrated. You know, we have a busy salon, I have an active job, making sure we're hydrated. And sometimes that's the bare minimum. And others, my husband also owns his own business and has a very successful business, and making sure I'm the one that actually calendarizes holidays to make sure that we have had a break together, and, you know, laptops down and things. So I think those things as a minimum are important.
So takeaways from that: take time to work on the business during the day, not in the silly hours, and diarise the breaks. We touched a moment ago on some of your marketing. Could you tell me a little bit more? And I'm sure the viewers will be interested to hear. You know, what marketing and growth strategies are working well for you?
Client recommendation, number one. You know, 95% of our new clients come through client recommendation, always have done. And we've been, you know, I'm eternally grateful for our clients that, you know, they go to work, you know, a couple of weeks after their hair is still looking fabulous, and their friends ask them about it. I do various things. I write a column in a local magazine for advice. I do, you know, some things I do because I enjoy doing them, and some things are worthwhile in terms of marketing point of view. I mean, social media for us, number one, you know, and not necessarily, you know, yes, Instagram is important to me as my shop window, definitely for clients to review what we can offer. But there's lots of local fabulous Facebook groups that people will recommend on, and each other. And I think the more that someone experiences what we offer here, they're in the best position to then really tell their friends about it. So that's a relationship that we really nurture, and we always make sure that we know where a new client has found us, and then we also then reach out and make sure that we thank that you know, if it's a client, they are thanked. We now have a refer a client reward scheme as well, but they're always actively thanked personally by me that they've recommended us, because we are genuinely really grateful.
How do you stay up to date, Hannah, in terms of industry trends and changes in technology and so on?
Well, the hair and wellness industry is evolving massively. It had a massive jump during lockdown because people had time to develop things, so we have our manufacturers that we buy products from. They provide a lot of training and a lot of new technology. We are really interested in stuff like London Fashion Week, and you know, from a trend hairdressing point of view, that's really important in terms of look and that we're trying to create and support our clients with. On the other hand, as well, in terms of our accessibility and also particularly our sustainability offering, that is lots of new technology coming through that we can, you know, we recycle the hair that we cut off. You know, that's not, you know, if it's long enough, it gets donated to the Little Princess Trust. But if it's not long enough, you know, that can help with reforestation. It can help with land, you know, lots of different things. With oil spills, it can, you know, the products that we use, but also the processes that we do in terms of the colouring processes within our salon to minimise the chemicals required on our clients, but also that we don't have anything that goes down our sinks that that isn't suitable for doing so. So nothing goes into the waterways from HK Hair and Wellness that shouldn't. Industry literature, non-industry literature, or anything that I can read and we can learn from each other, then that's what we do in Salon.
Last question, Hannah. It's been a great success story. What advice or words of wisdom would you give to other aspiring entrepreneurs who are looking to start their business?
Give yourself some time, I think.
Okay.
The early years of my career, and up until, I mean, even the decision to have the premises where I am was made is a quick one. But I think to give yourself time, and you don't need to run before you're not prepared to. These things aren't built. 10 years ago. I mean, I'm very clear on our values, my personal ones, very much reflected in the business ones, and our ethics as a business and what we want to create. But I think to give yourself time, and it's okay to say no. Not every opportunity is one that you should say yes to. I think those two things I think would be very, very valuable. I've said yes a lot of times that perhaps I probably didn't need to.
Fantastic. Hannah, it's been great to see you. Thank you so much for coming on to Business Spotlight and sharing your story.
No, thank you so much, Mark. It's been an honor. Thank you so much for seeing you.
You're welcome. Folks, if you'd like to come on to Business Spotlight and share your story in the way that Hannah's just done, we'd love to see you. Just comment, apply below, and we'll be in contact. Until next time, bye for now.